Tubman is going to be on the US $20 bill. I'll repeat that again. The Harriet Tubman is going to be on the $20 bill. It's monumental. It is incredibly monumental. And when I say is going to be, I mean it's going to be in 2020. So there are at least, 3.5 years left of Andrew Jackson circulating around on our 20s, and then clearly even when she's put on the 20, there'll still be some other 20s. But if you want, I'll collect your old 20s. When the new ones come out, if you want to send them to me, I will gladly collect those old 20s, and you guys can, circulate the newer Harriet Tubman 20s. Yes, so in 2020, Harriet Tubman is going to be replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. So this is very monumental for a lot of reasons. A little background. So basically, Harriet Tubman is the face of the Underground Railroad, which was an underground, not literally underground, system to get slaves from the South into the North to freedom. She personally took this journey and brought hundreds of slaves herself from slavery into freedom. And there's been a bit of controversy about this, which is without question. You just kind of know clearly, because to be black and to be a woman in America is to have two strikes against you, and God forbid we get a home run without the refs, having something to say about how we're playing the game. Anyway, so Andrew Jackson was president back in the day, and Andrew Jackson was the first and only, if I'm not mistaken, first and only president to bring our national debt down to zero, which, the concept is fantastic, but if you put it into perspective, it wasn't that phenomenal of a feat to accomplish, and here's why. So when he took office, I'm sorry, y'all, I gotta grab my notes. We were in debt of $58 million. $58 million in today, equivalent to today's time, would be about $1.4 billion, which in today's time we're $19.2 trillion in debt. So just keep that in mind. Already this equation is way off balance. He was in presidency for 8 years. He served 2 terms. Got our debt down to zero, and then he also balanced a budget, which basically means that you're taking in, holding, saving is greater than the money that you are dishing out, spending, and floundering. But what's interesting is that after the War of 1812, there was a requirement put in place by Congress that the president at the time would have to reduce our national debt by at least $10 million every year. And so this requirement had been in play for at least 2 presidents before Andrew Jackson. So I want to say Monroe and... You know what? I'm just going to look it up. John Quincy Adams. So there was already this precedent that was set before him, lowering the debt by $10 million every year. If he just came in and did what he was supposed to do, then it would be very easy for him to zero out our debt, and that he did. So congrats, Andrew Jackson, for that one. Not only are people upset that it's a woman, they're also upset that it's a black woman. So there's sexist comments going around, there are racist comments, there are funny ass memes just everywhere on social media. There are a lot of things encompassing this. But then we have Ben Carson and Donald Trump, who decide that they're going to speak out on such a matter. And when Ben Carson was asked if he's anti-Harriet Tubman, he so graciously told us that he's not anti-Harriet Tubman. He just believes that she should probably be on something like a $2 bill. What? Okay, let's rewind. First of all, yes, let us be happy that you as a black man are not anti-Harriet Tubman, because if it wasn't for her, your whole livelihood, everything that you know your life to be, would not even be a thing. She's one of those people who helped make your life possible in the way that you conceive. Like, even though he has taken quite the tumble, believe it or not, first African American neurosurgeon to perform like disconjointing conjoined twins at the head, like that was that Ben Carson. And it's kind of crazy because that was like during my grandmother's time, so she vividly remembers that, and like that was the first image she had of him. And that's not necessarily the image that I have of him. Like, when I think of Ben Carson, I think of this idiot that has come out, and he has just completely, I feel, thrown the African American community under the bus. I've had people, and he had a story of coming from nothing, making something of himself, but he's also another instance of one of those people that comes from these communities that need help, does something for himself, and forgets where he came from and forgets to reach back. So I truly believe that Ben Carson is one of those people. I stand by that statement. If you disagree, you can either keep it to yourself, you can respectfully comment it down below, or, I mean, it is what it is, but that's just what I believe. He's just bailed out on this. And then not to mention that he says that she should be circulated on a $2 bill. When is the last time that you pull a $2 bill out of your wallet? I'll wait. Exactly. Nobody. I have a $2 bill, and in my lifespan, I have owned in my possession less than 5 $2 bills. And then once I realized that, hey, $2 bills are kind of rare, then I kept my $2 bill, because even when Kristen's completely broke, I got $2 somewhere in my room. I got $2. Interesting to me that they both said the same thing, like they're really in cahoots. And then just being mad that she's on the face, like the front of the $20 bill. He's gonna be on the back of the bill. Now I know that concept of a white man, you know, backing a black woman might not be one that people are ready to just take in, but it's coming. You got 3.5 years to prepare yourself, because he's going to be on the back of the 20, and then Harriet's gonna be on the front. That's just what it's going to be. And I think it's very funny that when there was conversation about changing the $10 bill, nobody was talking when, you know, people wanted to change Alexander Hamilton off the 10, and I think they want to change to somebody like Susan B. Anthony. A woman was going to replace Hamilton, and wasn't nobody saying nothing then. But then when they made the final decision to not change Hamilton because of the musical, which I really want to see that. The musical made Hamilton popping again, and because of that, he stayed on the 10. And Harriet Tubman, being a black woman, replacing a white male who formerly owned slaves, is just it's a really, really big deal. And it's the first time that a woman has been on U.S. currency in over a century, and the very first time that an African American person has ever been on U.S. currency. While the foolery surrounding it is less than ideal, it's definitely a win for the African American community, and the world has about 3.5 years to get, you know, acclimated with the idea of Harriet Tubman being on the 20. So please take your time, because it's going to happen whether you're ready or not. Tupac Shakur. I can honestly say that I am a fan of Tupac. I really am. And recently he's been in the news very heavy, in my opinion. So earlier this week, he had a love letter, a handwritten love letter that he had written that sold for $35,000. Yes, let's take a moment to think about that. That is insane to me. Anyway, so he sold a love letter. He didn't sell it, but his love letter sold for $35,000 earlier this week. Then, a couple of days ago, MTV released a never-before-seen interview of a 21-year-old Tupac Shakur in 1992. I'll link that interview down below. It's definitely worth the watch. Tupac was just commenting on the greedy mentality of America, and he name drops a couple of people like Donald Trump, which is very, very interesting and almost prophetic, given the fact that Donald Trump, an actual legitimate contender to be president of the United States. I still have yet to wrap my mind around that. Now, what I can say is that I do believe that Donald Trump is like an ideal politician, in the sense of he really advocates for the community that he comes from. While we're mad because 99% of America does not fall within the 1% that Donald Trump does, of course we're upset. Of course I'm upset, because I'm in the 99%. He caters to that 1%. That's what a like politicians are supposed to do. Now somebody from the 99% would come through and actually try to advocate for those of us in the 99%, and that be their sole goal, is to like to push us forward and empower us. I think things would be a lot different. He just basically says that there is no reason why there should be people living so lavishly, and then there are people that are in the streets starving, people that don't have a place to stay, people who don't have ways to get around, individuals that don't have jobs, people who have more than they can, like you have more than you can even handle. And I read an article this past week that was basically profiling 4 different like economic classes, I guess you can say. And what I found was interesting about all of them is that everyone has a give me more attitude. Like nobody is content in where they are, or nobody is willing to just work within where they are. And even if, like, let's say I make $50,000 a year and you ask me what do I think I would need to live comfortably, I'm going to tell you $100,000. But the person with $100,000 is going to tell you that what they think to live comfortably, that they need to live comfortably, is $250,000. And it's just it's so it's just so interesting to me. Anywho. So this interview I think is definitely worth a watch. And if you do see it, comment down below and just let me know what your thoughts were on that particular interview. So sadly, Prince has died. I was literally leaving Victoria's Secret. I get online and it's everywhere, like Prince is dead, and I'm like, I just didn't want to believe it. I was like, Prince is not dead. Like, Prince was 57 years old. He was like the shade king. I got so much life from him, not only his music, but just the freedom in which he like lived his life. Prince was the shit. I'm sorry. And so to find out that he had passed at such a young age, and I feel like, and I'm young, right? So I'm 21, and I feel like I have seen so many like legends die in my lifetime. Like Prince just passed. We've seen Michael leave, Whitney. Like, I'm really trying to figure out what's going on. So what is being said was that Prince has been sick with the flu. Not pneumonia, but the flu. So he was sick with the flu. He took some days off from his tour and let everybody know, that he had not been feeling well. And apparently there was an instance where he was on a plane. They had to do an emergency stop on the plane and like get him off and get him to a hospital and things like that. But he ended up coming back out, and came back and said like, I'm good. And then 2 days later, they find him dead in an elevator in his Minnesota home. So in his Minnesota home is actually a recording studio as well. So who knows? He could have been cooking up some new music for us. Anyway, they found him dead in his elevator. And now, of course, people are trying to figure out what the exact cause of death is. And I'm sick of it. Like, and this 2016 has just not been our year, right? So President Barack Obama is leaving office. Kobe just retired. Like, Prince died. Like, all of these things are happening. Like, I just want a do-over. I want a do-over. 2016. So some things that I'm excited for that are happening next week is Drake is dropping Views from the 6 on the 29th. Highly anticipated. He's been saying for over a year that he got spring. No, maybe it's been about a year. He was, talking about having spring 2016 popping. And it's really going to be spring when he dropped this poppin' ass Views from the 6 album that we've been waiting for God knows how long. Like, Beyonce is releasing Lemonade on HBO, and Lemonade is basically like a documentary type thing, and she's done this before a couple years ago on HBO as well. She just released Ivy Park. Beyonce has body goals. If I could get a booty like Beyonce, let's get an Ivy Park workout video series. Beyonce, it's a request from me to you. I'm just 1B in your hive, but I mean, I feel like my needs, my wants are just as important as everybody else. So let's drop a workout video. Then in other Beyonce news, I heard that DJ Khaled is supposed to be joining her on her Formation tour. Major key or nah? I feel like I cannot go a day without hearing Kardashian. Like, I hear the Kardashian name every single day in some capacity. Between Kim and Kanye, their child, the alleged Kanye saying that like his son is the second coming of Christ, to like Courtney, Chloe, like their mom, Kris, the twins, like Kardashian is definitely a household name, and sometimes I feel really bad for even like divulging in their not. It's like it's all for it's like everything they do is a strategic move. Everything they do, whether it's completely ridiculous, they do, and we feed into it. Like Kylie Jenner uses the Bob Marley, like on 420 they had a Bob Marley filter on Snapchat. She uses the filter, and of course people get outraged, and she's clearly white while she does love our features. So the people are getting mad saying that it's like a common day blackface, but I'm gonna talk about this because I feel like it, damn it. So Kylie Jenner posted a picture with Black China, just talking about how they've just been friends the whole time. Like a love circle triangle thing. So Kylie Jenner is dating Tyga. Tyga is Black China's ex, whom they have a child together. Black China is now engaged to Rob Kardashian, who's Kylie Jenner's older brother. Then what does that make somebody said that Tyga's finna be an uncle to his own child. That's just some like for there to be so many people in the world, and I know that the higher you get, the lonelier it is, but it's not that lonely. Or get you somebody that's not up that high. I'm just confused as to why out of all the men in the world, all the females in the world, that you have to like dabble in the same, like it's almost double dipping in a weird sense. Like it's like taking your chip and putting it in spinach dip, biting it, and then dipping it in salsa. It's not necessarily dipping it in the same thing twice, but why? Like, why? There's so many people. Why? That's all I can say is why. If you have any semblance as to why, if you get something that I'm just, that is escaping me and just going just over my head, please comment down below. I would love to be enlightened about the situation. I really would. All right, I just want to say thank you so much for bearing with me on this first installment of Kicking It. It was something that's been on my mind to do. I am very passionate about the Black community. I'm very passionate about like pop culture and kind of how that affects us and things like that. And so to be able to come and get on YouTube and kind of talk about these things and just share my opinions is something that I'm very happy to have a platform to do. I don't know everything there is to know about everything that's going on. So if there's ever anything that I didn't address that you want me to address, you can always tweet me, you can message me, you can comment down below. If you're reading an article that you think is an interesting read, put it down in the comments below, or a video, like link things, and I will definitely go and I'll check those things out. We'll also put the link to the channel of a YouTuber who made me feel like these kind of videos were okay. Julesy, I love her channel. She's one of those people that I'll hang around because you always want to be surrounded by people who are smarter than you. And I think that I love her channel. And I don't know, like, she made me feel like it's okay to want to do videos like this. And she made me feel like there is a niche in the YouTube market for people talking about current event news and things that affect the Black community. And I am Black, I am a woman, and I am an American, and I'm a person who has opinions. And so hopefully you stick with me every week. Keep coming back because I'm gonna keep sending videos out. I just want to thank you guys again for kicking it with me, and I will see you next